Welcome back. What if that old penny you just found in a drawer was actually worth hundreds? Some pennies may look ordinary, but their value is anything but. Stay tuned. We're uncovering the rarest and most valuable pennies you should be looking for right now. 1943 De Steel Wheat Penny Coin Condition Red Rust. This coin holds a unique place in the history of American coinage as it was minted during a time of global conflict when the materials traditionally used for coins were redirected to support the war effort. The 1943 steel penny is the only regular issue Lincoln wheat penny made primarily from steel and coated with zinc rather than the usual copper composition. The reason behind this temporary change was the urgent need for copper in the production of wartime ammunition and other military equipment during World War II. As a result, the United States Mint produced pennies from steel to help conserve vital copper supplies. The D Mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the three facilities producing steel cents that year, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. Over 217 million steel cents were minted in Denver in 1943, making this a high mintage coin. But despite the high production numbers, many of these coins were subject to rapid deterioration due to their composition. Steel is prone to corrosion, especially when the zinc coating wears off, exposing the bare metal to moisture and oxygen. This specific example is described as having red rust, which suggests that the protective zinc layer has worn away in several areas of the coin, allowing the underlying steel to oxidize. The presence of rust indicates the coin has been exposed to moisture at some point, which is a common fate for many surviving steel cents. The red rust not only diminishes the visual appeal of the coin, but also affects its structural integrity, depending on the severity and depth of the corrosion. On the obverse side of the coin, which features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, details like the hairlines, cheek, and jaw might be partially obscured or pitted due to the rust damage. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" may still be visible, though worn and affected by the rusted surface. The date 1943 and the small D Mint mark located below the date are also likely still visible, but potentially weakened by corrosion. On the reverse, the wheat ears that give this coin its nickname, the wheat penny, may appear flattened or eroded depending on the location and spread of the rust. The central inscription 1 cent and the surrounding legends "United States of America" and "De e pluribus unum" can remain legible in many rusted examples, but often with softened or spotty definition. The steel core gives the coin a slightly lighter weight than the standard copper pennies both before and after 1943, and also a different metallic ring when dropped. Even though this coin once had a silvery finish due to its zinc plating, the corrosion would have caused the surface to turn reddish-brown, and in advanced cases a dark, rough texture develops as the rust eats into the steel. Because of the temporary nature of the material used in 1943 and the susceptibility to rust, coins in poor condition like this one generally do not hold high collector value unless they have rare errors or unique characteristics. However, they still hold historic value due to their connection to World War II and their rarity in pristine condition. Some collectors actively seek out examples with varying degrees of corrosion, or even coins that exhibit both original zinc coating and rusty areas for educational purposes or as part of a complete condition set. One factor that sometimes confuses people is the 1943 steel penny's shiny silver-like appearance when new, which leads some to believe it is a rare coin or made of a precious metal. In reality, while the steel cent is special because of its one-year composition change, it is not rare in circulated condition, especially with rust. That said, there are certain 1943 pennies that are extremely valuable, such as those accidentally struck on copper plankets intended for pre-war cents. These are distinct from the steel versions and are easily differentiated by their brown copper coloring and non-magnetic nature. In circulated condition with red rust, the 1943 D steel penny typically holds nominal value and often sells for a small premium above face value, especially if the damage is extensive. However, coins that have been cleaned in an attempt to remove rust usually suffer further damage and reduced value, as cleaning often creates unnatural surfaces or scratches. For this reason, most collectors prefer coins with original surfaces even if they show rust. Next up we have 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition good. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, which was the main production facility for U.S. coinage at that time, and it did not use a mint mark. The year 1940 was marked by significant world events as the United States was on the verge of entering World War II. Coins from this era carry an added historical weight as they represent the last years of peace before a major global conflict. In good condition, the coin shows significant signs of wear from many years of circulation. However, even with this, the major features remain visible. On the obverse side, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln remains intact, though the finer details, like the hair and cheek, may be quite worn and smoothed. The words "In God We Trust, Liberty" and the date 1940 are generally readable, though may be faint or worn down around the edges. On the reverse side, the iconic wheat ears that give the wheat penny its name are still present, but heavily flattened. The phrases 1 cent and United States of America can be read, although the edges may show signs of wear, and the lettering could be faint in certain areas. Despite its circulated condition, the 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny remains an important collectible for several reasons. First, it represents a continuation of the popular Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner, which began in 1909. The wheat reverse design was still in use during 1940, and collectors of full-date sets from 1909 to 1958 seek out every year and mint mark combination. The 1940 penny is an essential part of that collection, and even in good condition, it can hold sentimental and numismatic value, especially for beginner collectors or those completing a circulated set. Over 500 million of these coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1940, which makes it a common date in the Lincoln Wheat penny series. However, that does not make it unimportant. Many of the coins minted in 1940 were used extensively over the next 2 to 3 decades, and many were eventually lost, damaged, or melted. As a result, finding one today, any condition, still offers an opportunity to hold a piece of American history in your hand. When one considers the historical backdrop of 1940, with the rise of conflict in Europe and the US preparing for involvement, the coin becomes more than just a monetary artifact. It becomes a snapshot of everyday life during a pivotal time. Collectors often look at coins in good condition as entry points to the hobby. These coins are more affordable, but still offer a full historical and design experience. They are also ideal for educational purposes to introduce new generations to coin collecting without the high cost of mint state examples. For those who are building a full date and mint set of Lincoln Wheat pennies, the 1940 no mint mark is a necessary addition and one that is often sought after in all conditions to complete those sets. The copper composition of the coin is another point of interest. Pennies from 1940 were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Over time, copper coins develop a unique patina and surface coloration that can range from bright red in uncirculated coins to deep brown in circulated pieces. A 1940 penny in good condition likely shows this natural darkening, which gives the coin a rich aged look. While not flashy or pristine, the coin carries a quiet dignity that reflects its long journey through the pockets and purses of countless Americans. From a market value perspective, a 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny in good condition does not command a high price, but it holds more value than its face amount. While its retail value might range from a few cents to possibly $1 depending on the exact appearance and demand, it still holds more importance to collectors than monetary worth alone. The value also increases if the coin is part of a bulk lot or part of a story-driven collection where the year or condition connects to a personal or historical theme. The coin might also have minor errors or variations that could increase its appeal to collectors. While there are no widely known major errors for the 1940 penny, from Philadelphia. Some examples may show slight doubling die cracks or planchet flaws. These features, while subtle, can make a coin more desirable for collectors who focus on unique or rare features in circulated coins. In terms of preservation, even a coin in good condition can benefit from proper handling. It should be stored in a dry and clean holder, ideally separated from other coins to avoid further scratches or damage. Keeping the coin safe will ensure that it retains whatever historical and collectible value it carries and may allow it to be passed on as part of a family collection or as a learning tool for future collectors. Next up we have 1940 for S. Lincoln Wheat penny coin condition circulated. This coin comes from a pivotal time in American history when World War II was still ongoing and the country was producing millions of coins to support a growing wartime economy. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most widely collected coins in the entire Wheat cent series, and the presence of the S mint mark indicates that it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. During the year, the San Francisco Mint struck over 200 million of these coins, which makes it relatively common in circulated condition today. However, even with a high mintage, coins from this period can carry significant interest and potential value depending on their condition, historical interest, and collector demand. This specific coin is described as circulated, which means it has passed through the hands of the public and shows signs of wear. In circulated condition, a 1940 for S Wheat penny may display flattened or worn areas on Lincoln's portrait, especially around the cheek hair and jawline. The finer details in Lincoln's coat and the lines in his hair may be smooth or faint due to consistent handling and age. Inscriptions such as "In God We Trust Liberty" and the date 1944 with the small S mint mark underneath remain readable, although some of the sharpness might be lost. On the reverse side, which features two stylized wheat stalks flanking the denomination, 1 cent, the lettering of United States of America and E pluribus unum might show wear or soft edges. The wheat lines themselves can appear faded or partially missing depending on how long the coin remained in circulation. Despite the wear, circulated coins like this still hold value for collectors, especially when they are part of a complete year and mint mark set. Many coin enthusiasts strive to collect one example from each year and each mint, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, so a 1940 for S remains in demand. It is important to note that the composition of the 1940 for penny returned to copper after a brief detour into steel in 1943. Due to the public's dissatisfaction with steel pennies, the U.S. Mint resumed using copper plankets in 1940 for made mostly from recycled shell casings from the war. These casings were melted down and used to mint coins, which makes 1940 for pennies unique in a historical sense. This link between wartime material recycling and everyday coinage adds another layer of appeal for collectors who value historical context. While the 1940 for S penny is not considered rare in general, especially in lower circulated grades, it still holds collector interest, and depending on certain factors, it can command modest premiums in the numismatic market. For example, if the coin has even coloration, original surfaces, and minimal damage, it may be more appealing to collectors. Additionally, coins with strong strikes, even in circulated condition, are preferred since they show better definition of the design elements. One thing to look for on 1940 for S pennies is die variations or mint errors, which can dramatically increase a coin's value. Some examples include double die obverse, where the lettering appears doubled, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These types of errors are sought after and can raise the market value significantly even for coins in lower condition. The historical setting also boosts the appeal of coins like the 1940 for S penny. During that year, many families collected wheat pennies to help with the war effort or to set aside keepsakes during uncertain times. As a result, this coin represents not just a piece of currency, but also a small piece of American life during the 1940s. Its presence in circulation and the wear it shows tell a story of how everyday people used these coins in market stores and homes. For this reason, circulated wheat pennies often carry a personal and nostalgic value that goes beyond their face value. In today's collector market, a 1940 for Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition generally trades for a modest amount, but can still be worth more to those assembling full sets or looking for historically significant coins. The value can range depending on the level of wear, surface condition, and any unique features, but even the most worn examples are still desirable as part of the iconic wheat penny series. Coins like this serve as a reminder of how much history can be held in a small piece of metal, and for many collectors, the 1940 for penny is a valued addition to their collection, not just for its date and mint mark, but for its connection to a defining era in American history. Next up we have the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at the Denver Mint and is part of the long-running wheat penny series that was issued from 1909 to 1958. This particular coin features the classic design by Victor D. Brenner on the obverse, showing the profile of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse shows two wheat ears which flank the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent. The D mint mark below the date indicates that the coin was struck in Denver, which was responsible for producing a large portion of circulating pennies during this period. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny had a high mintage of over 700 million coins, making it a common date in the wheat penny series. However, the true value of a 1953 penny depends not just on the year and mint mark, but largely on its condition, luster, and eye appeal. When a coin retains its original copper color, which collectors describe as red, it becomes far more desirable. This coin is described as being in red shade, which means that it still shows much of the bright red copper tone that it had when it was first minted. Red shade coins are considered to be in superior condition compared to coins that have toned to brown or red-brown due to age and oxidation. Coins in red shade can sometimes be worth significantly more, especially when they show few signs of wear. A red 1953 penny that has been well preserved and has minimal contact marks or abrasions can be graded as mint state. Grading services use a scale from 1 to 70, and a coin that grades at 60 or above is considered mint state. Mint state. Coins with full red color are especially valuable because they are harder to find. Most pennies from this period have been heavily circulated, which often leads to discoloration, loss of detail, and the development of brown tones. For example, a 1953 penny in mint state 65 red may be valued anywhere from $20 to several $100s depending on the overall appearance and whether it has been certified by a professional grading company. In extremely rare cases, if a 1953 penny receives a grade of mint state 67 red or higher, it could be worth well over $1,000 or even more. Some top examples have sold for more than $5,000 at auction when demand among collectors is strong and the coin displays exceptional quality. There are also instances where a coin may have mint errors or varieties which can add to its value. Although the 1953 penny is not widely known for major varieties, there are some coins with repunched mint marks or slight doubling in the lettering or date. These varieties are of special interest to collectors of era coins, and when they occur on a coin with red color and mint state preservation, they can push the value even higher. Another important factor that affects a coin's value is eye appeal. Even if a coin is technically graded as mint state, it may have unattractive spots, dull luster, or other flaws that reduce its desirability. A red 1953 penny with a smooth surface, full luster, and no spotting or toning is far more likely to be valued at the upper end of the price range. Collectors will often pay a premium for coins that look especially bright or fresh, even if they are otherwise common in terms of mintage. When storing a red shade coin, such as the 1953 penny, care must be taken to avoid exposure to air, humidity, and chemicals which can dull the color or create spots over time. These coins are best kept in coin holders made of inert materials or in sealed holders if professionally graded. It is also advisable not to handle red coins with bare hands, since the oils and moisture from the skin can lead to changes in the surface and affect the coin's appearance and value. Although the 1953 penny is not rare in a general sense, its value comes from its condition and color. A collector trying to build a high-grade wheat penny set will often see coins that retain their red color, since such pieces are more difficult to find in original condition. For this reason, red shade coins continue to be in demand despite their common mintage and are often chosen as key examples in high-quality Lincoln cent collections. The 1953 penny serves as an excellent example of how the condition and color of a coin can have a dramatic effect on its value. While an average circulated 1953 penny may only be worth a few cents, a red shade version in mint state can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Its appeal lies not only in its historical significance, but also in its bright color and well-preserved appearance, which reflect the craftsmanship and care of mid-20th century coin production. In conclusion, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny in red shade condition is a highly attractive and collectible coin. It may not be rare in terms of how many were made, but its value and desirability are greatly enhanced by its color, condition, and potential for high grading. For collectors interested in assembling a visually striking and historically important set of Lincoln cents, the red 1953 penny is a standout choice that offers beauty, history, and investment potential. Next up we have 1929 Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark, coin condition fine. This coin belongs to an earlier era of United States coinage, a time when America was standing on the edge of the Great Depression and national sentiment was slowly shifting. The 1929 Lincoln wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, and its production total was over 185 million pieces. While that number may seem high today, coins from this year and fine condition are not as commonly found due to age circulation and attrition over time. In fine condition, the coin displays moderate wear from circulation, but still retains many of the major details of its original design. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse remains clear, with the facial features, hair, and ears still recognizable, but with softening in high points like the cheekbone, jaw, and coat. The inscriptions in "God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1929 are still strong, though slight fading may appear, especially near the edges. On the reverse, the wheat ears that frame the denomination 1 cent are worn, but still visible. The lettering United States of America and E pluribus unum may show some smoothing, though all should be readable. The overall look of a fine condition coin from this era carries an attractive vintage feel, with surface, toning, and signs of honest use over many decades. The historical significance of this coin adds greatly to its collectible value. Minted just before the Wall Street crash of October 1929, this penny represents a turning point in American economic history. Coins from this time carry a sense of weight not just in metal, but in meaning. They circulated during the lead-up to the Great Depression, were used by people in cities and rural towns alike, and witnessed an era of extreme financial hardship and resilience. Holding a 1929 penny in your hand is like touching a small part of that American experience. Even more so in fine condition, because it suggests that despite years of use, the coin was not entirely worn away and still retains its essential design and details. Collectors value wheat pennies like the 1929, especially when they come in better than average circulated condition. Fine is considered a mid-level circulated grade and is generally more desirable than lower grades like good or very good, which show heavier wear and sometimes partial details. Coins in fine condition are often used by collectors building circulated sets who want coins that reflect their age but are still attractive and legible. Additionally, because the 1929 penny has no mint mark, it is identifiable, coming from Philadelphia, which for many years was the primary mint and often considered the default version of any given coin. Another factor to consider is that coins from the 1920s face increasing scarcity as time passes. While they were common when minted, decades of usage loss and coin melting have reduced the number of surviving examples, especially those in decent shape. This natural attrition makes coins like the 1929 penny more interesting for those looking to complete a full century set or a date run of early Lincoln cents. When one finds a 1929 penny in fine condition, it is not just a lucky find, but a reminder of the durable design by Victor David Brenner, whose work has stood the test of time. The coin's copper composition also contributes to its appearance and collectability. Over the years, copper coins tone and develop a variety of surface colors ranging from light red to chocolate brown. A 1929 penny in fine condition may exhibit warm brown tones and some natural spotting that further confirms its authenticity and age. Collectors often seek coins with natural patina that has not been altered by cleaning, since original surfaces hold better market value. Coins that have been cleaned or polished often lose some of their collectible appeal unless professionally restored. In today's collector market, a 1929 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition holds modest but solid value. While it is not considered extremely rare in this grade, it is still desired by those completing Lincoln wheat sets, especially from earlier decades. Value can range depending on eye appeal, tone, and any minor variety or mint error. There are some known minor die variations in the 1929 wheat penny series, though most examples in fine condition will be valued based on overall preservation and surface quality. Next up, we have the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition red shade. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin features the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the familiar inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year of minting. On the reverse side, it displays the classic wheat stalks design with 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto "E pluribus unum." This design was in use from 1909 until 1958, and the 1957 version is among the later years of wheat cent production. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was struck in Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark for cents during this period. The overall mintage for the 1957 no mint mark penny was in the hundreds of millions, making it a relatively common coin in general circulation. However, the condition red shade gives this particular coin additional interest and potential value. Among collectors, the red shade refers to the coin's original mint luster. When a copper coin is first minted, it has a bright reddish color caused by the freshly struck copper surface. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling will cause the coin to turn brown. A red shade coin has retained much of that original color, indicating it was well preserved, likely kept away from environmental damage, and possibly stored in a controlled environment or mint set. Red shade coins are highly desirable, especially if they are free from spots, scratches, and contact marks. Even if the coin has no rare mint error or low mintage, its condition can place it in a higher value range. While most circulated 1957 wheat pennies are worth only a few cents to $1, red shade examples in pristine condition can be worth more. Collectors pay premiums for coins that have original red color, especially if they grade in the high mint state range, such as MS 65 or above. Although the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is common in general, red shade examples with high eye appeal can be valued from hundreds to thousands of dollars. In rare cases, coins with full red tone and high-grade certification have sold for prices ranging from $10,000 to more than $500,000, depending on other factors, such as strike quality, rarity of the red, preservation, and market demand. If this particular coin displays full red luster without major contact marks, it could fall into a much higher value category, especially when professionally graded and certified by services like PCGS or NGC. It is important to note that coin grading plays a big role in value. A red shade coin that is uncirculated and shows sharp details will grade higher than one with dull surfaces or visible damage. Professional grading also ensures authenticity and helps in determining exact market value. For a 1957 penny to be worth a significant amount, it usually must be in mint state red with no visible wear and possibly have unique qualities like double dyes, repunch mint marks, or other recognized errors. This coin being red shade and without Mint mark suggests that it was well preserved since the time of minting. This makes it especially interesting for collectors who seek high-quality coins from the Wheat penny series. It may have been pulled from circulation early and stored properly, or may have come from an uncirculated mint roll. Such coins are now difficult to find in original red condition due to decades of circulation and oxidation. Collectors prize these red shade examples for their beauty and historical context. The late 1950s were a transitional period in U.S. coinage, and this coin represents one of the final years before the Wheat design was retired. Holding onto a red shade 1957 penny is holding a piece of preserved American history. Preserving the coin in its current state is important to maintain its value. It should be kept in a coin holder away from moisture and light to prevent further toning or corrosion. Handling should be limited and only done by the edges to prevent fingerprints or oil from affecting the surface. In conclusion, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in red shade condition stands as a valuable collectible due to its preserved color and potential grade. Although common in general, the red shade quality sets it apart. If in near mint or uncirculated condition, it can command high prices and become one of the more desirable Wheat pennies from that era. For serious collectors or those looking to evaluate its true value, professional grading is the best next step. With the right grade and preservation, this coin could be worth anywhere from hundreds to as much as $500,000. Next up we have 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark, coin condition bad. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that time did not use a mint mark. Being part of the original Lincoln Wheat penny series, the 1937 version holds historical interest for collectors and historians alike despite its current condition. The Lincoln Wheat penny design created by Victor David Brenner began in 1909 and in the 1937 coin fit squarely in the middle of that long production run, which continued until 1958. In bad condition, this coin has experienced significant wear and damage. Many details on the obverse side, which features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, are likely flattened or worn beyond recognition. His facial features, the lines in his hair, and the shape of his coat may be almost completely smooth. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1937 might still be faintly visible, but in many cases these words are partially missing or difficult to read. The reverse side showing the two wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America is severely faded. The wheat ears themselves may be nearly erased by time and use, and any texture that once gave them depth has likely disappeared. Coins in bad condition are generally referred to as having heavy wear, and many collectors consider them at the lowest end of the collectible scale. However, this does not mean they are worthless. Every coin tells a story, and a coin from 1937 that has survived nearly 90 years is a tangible connection to an earlier time. This coin may have passed through the hands of countless Americans during the Great Depression era. It may have been used to buy goods during a period of great economic hardship and global uncertainty, and it represents part of the everyday fabric of life in the United States during the late 1930s. Even in poor condition, the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark holds value to collectors, especially those who are just starting to build a circulated set. Many young or budget-conscious collectors begin their collections with coins in lower grades because they are more accessible and still allow the collector to complete important date and mint mark combinations. A coin like this may not be a centerpiece, but it plays a vital role in building a full historical timeline of the Lincoln Cent series. Because this coin lacks a mint mark, we know it was produced in Philadelphia, and according to historical mint records, over 309 million of these coins were struck that year. Well, this means it is not a rare date. The passage of time and the wear of daily circulation have made examples in pristine condition much harder to find. On the opposite side, a coin in bad condition like this one serves as a reminder of how these coins were used extensively and not kept aside for collections or savings. It saw the world likely exchanging hands many thousands of times before ending up in the possession of a collector or coin enthusiast. Its copper composition is another point worth noting. The 1937 Lincoln wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. As copper ages, it oxidizes and changes color, especially when exposed to moisture or improper storage conditions. A coin in bad condition may also exhibit corrosion, green or dark brown discoloration, and possible environmental damage. These changes can further obscure the design and make the coin harder to grade, but they are part of the coin's life story and contribute to its uniqueness. In the collector market, a coin like this would not fetch high prices. Its value may range from just a few cents to perhaps $1, depending on the specific level of damage and wear. However, when presented with the right narrative and context, it can still hold special interest. For instance, some collectors enjoy finding the worst condition coin of each year as a challenge. Others may include it in art or education projects to show how coins wear over time. It may even be used as a teaching tool in classrooms to demonstrate American history, currency evolution, and metal composition. Care for this coin in the future should be focused on preservation rather than restoration. Attempting to clean or polish such a coin can further damage it and reduce any remaining collectible value. Instead, it should be stored in a safe, dry location, possibly in a coin holder, to prevent further wear. Its role as a piece of American heritage deserves respect even if its surface no longer shows the sharp beauty it once had when it left the mint. Next up we have 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny Condition Fine. The 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of the last few years of the iconic wheat cent design before it was replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial reverse. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is signified by the small d mint mark found just below the date on the obverse of the coin. The obverse of the coin features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays two stalks of wheat which curve along the edges of the coin and enclose the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, along with the national motto E pluribus unum. In fine condition, the coin still retains noticeable detail on both sides. The image of Lincoln is clear with minor wear on the cheek and jawline. The lettering, including Liberty and In God We Trust, should be fully readable and bold. The wheat stalks on the reverse will show signs of wear, but still have partial lines visible, and the overall shape is intact. This condition is better than coins that are graded as good or very good because more of the original design remains visible despite light to moderate wear. The 1956 D penny is one of the more common wheat pennies due to the high mintage of over 1 billion coins produced at the Denver Mint that year. However, even though it is common, the value of this coin increases significantly when the condition is higher or if there are any unique variations or errors. In fine condition, a regular 1956 D penny might only sell for a few dollars in a typical collector's market, but rare examples with unusual characteristics can command significantly higher prices. For example, a coin with strong red coloring which indicates original mint luster, or one that has no contact marks, can be worth more. Even higher value is possible for error coins, such as double diab versus off-center strikes or repunched mint marks, which are highly sought after by collectors. In recent high-profile auctions, certain pristine or rare examples of 1956 D wheat pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. If a coin has both eye appeal and rarity, it can reach even higher values, sometimes well over $100,000. There is always interest in Lincoln wheat pennies among collectors because they offer a glimpse into the economic and cultural history of the United States. The 1956 D coin was struck during a time of economic prosperity in the post-war era. Coins like this one were used in everyday transactions during the time of President Dwight Eisenhower and are now considered an important part of American numismatic history. Even if the coin has only moderate value in the collector market, in fine condition, it remains a piece of that history. Many collectors work to assemble complete sets of Lincoln wheat pennies, and a 1956 D is an essential entry in such a set. Because of its relatively high availability, it is often used by collectors to teach beginners about coin grading mint marks and the importance of preservation. Coins should always be handled carefully by the edges to avoid adding oils or dirt to the surface. For storage, it is best to keep coins in acid-free holders in a cool, dry environment to preserve the details and prevent future corrosion or spotting. While cleaning may seem like a way to improve the look of the coin, it often reduces the value, especially if done with abrasive tools or harsh chemicals. Overall, the 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition stands as a solid representative of the closing years of the wheat cent era. It is a collector favorite due to its age, historical context, and accessible value. While many of these pennies still exist and circulate among collectors, few remain in truly exceptional condition. This is why those that are visually striking or have documented minting errors can sell for large amounts of money at auctions, with some examples reaching prices from $50,000 to even over $500,000 depending on rarity and preservation. Collectors should always look closely at these coins for signs of doubling, misalignment, or unusual features, and if such traits are found, a professional coin grading service can help determine if the coin qualifies for a rare classification. This helps establish the coin's market value and provides documentation that is useful for resale or auction. Even in fine condition, a 1956 D wheat penny is more than just a piece of copper. It is a part of the American story, a snapshot of a time when coins were made with care and artistry, and an affordable entry point into the world of numismatics for collectors of all ages. 1920 for Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark, coin condition bad. The 1920 for Lincoln wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and does not carry any mint mark, which was standard for coins produced there. This penny belongs to the early years of the Lincoln cent series, which started in 1909 and featured the wheat reverse design until 1958. The obverse of the coin features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1904. While the reverse shows two wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E pluribus unum. In bad condition, this coin has likely lost much of its original detail. Circulation where over the decades has probably caused flattening of Lincoln's facial features. The lettering may be weak or partially worn off, and the wheat ears on the reverse may be heavily smoothed. There could also be additional signs of aging, such as corrosion, pitting, discoloration, or surface grime that has built up over time. These defects can result from poor storage, exposure to moisture, or handling without care over the years. Despite its condition, the 1920 for Lincoln wheat penny still holds value for collectors, particularly those building date sets or those interested in early 20th century U.S. coinage. However, due to its high mintage and the availability of examples in better condition, the coin in bad shape is generally considered to have only modest worth. Its value typically ranges from just above face value up to a few dollars depending on the severity of the damage and remaining visible details. For example, if the date is still readable and the wheat reverse is partially visible, it may appeal to beginner collectors or those filling lower grade spots in their collections. Well, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 75 million of these coins in 1920 for the lack of mint mark sometimes causes confusion among new collectors who assume missing mint marks indicate rarity. In this case, however, no mint mark simply means the coin was minted in Philadelphia, which was common. Rarer 1920 for wheat pennies include those from the Denver Mint with a D mint mark, where far fewer were produced, and better condition examples of that version are more desirable and valuable. Coins in bad condition like this 1920, for example, can still be appreciated for their historical value. They represent a time when 1 cent held greater purchasing power and circulated coins played a crucial role in everyday commerce. This penny may have passed through hundreds of hands over its lifetime, buying goods and services throughout the early and mid-20th century. Every scratch, dent, and worn edge tells part of that long journey. Collectors and enthusiasts sometimes keep low-grade coins like this for educational purposes or as placeholders in a larger collection. It also allows for comparisons with higher-grade examples to study the effects of wear and aging on coin design and materials. Some people enjoy searching for these older pennies in coin rolls or old jars, where worn coins often turn up after decades of being out of regular circulation. Although this coin does not meet the standards of fine or uncirculated specimens, it still represents a piece of American numismatic history. It connects modern collectors to the past and offers a tangible link to the era of the Roaring Twenties when the coin was struck. In 1920, for the United States was in the midst of social and technological transformation, and pennies like this were part of daily life for people during that time. For those hoping to improve the condition of such a coin, cleaning it's not recommended unless done by a professional. Cleaning can often reduce a coin's appeal and may even lower its value further by removing natural patina or causing additional surface damage. It is usually best to leave coins in their found state and store them properly in dry, low humidity environments using archival materials. In summary, the 1920 for Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in bad condition may not have significant monetary value, but it holds historical significance and can still find a place in a collection, especially among early Lincoln cents. Its wear and damage reflect its age and usage, and even in a degraded state it tells a story of time and circulation. Coins like this remain meaningful as relics of the past and contribute to the broader appreciation of numismatic heritage. Next up we have the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny coin condition circulated. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the letter D placed just below the year on the obverse side of the coin. This coin is part of the well-known wheat penny series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958, featuring the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and to stylized wheat stalks on the back representing strength and prosperity. In circulated condition, this 1953 penny likely shows signs of wear from use in daily transactions over many decades. These signs can include smoothing of details in Lincoln's hair and face, reduced definition in the lettering and numbers, and general flattening of the wheat stalks on the reverse side. Despite this wear, it still retains its identity as a mid-century copper penny and is of interest to collectors and historians alike. The 1953 penny had a very high mintage, with over 700 million coins produced at the Denver Mint, making it a common date in the Lincoln wheat penny series. Because of this high mintage, the value of a circulated example is typically modest. However, some collectors still seek this coin to complete date and mint mark sets, and as a result it has a small numismatic value above face value depending on condition. And I appeal. In general, a circulated 1953 penny might be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on the level of wear and presence of any unusual features. Coins with clear readable dates, full rims, and visible wheat details are more desirable than those heavily worn with faded design elements. While the average example might not reach high price levels, any unique characteristics, such as a mint error, could raise its value significantly. There are some known varieties and errors for the 1953 wheat penny. These include possible doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. If the coin in question displays any of these characteristics, it should be examined more closely, perhaps even submitted to a professional grading service for authentication and evaluation. Mint errors, especially if dramatic or rare, can raise the value of a common date coin substantially. Although this particular coin is circulated and may not have the sharp detail or vibrant red tone of a mint state example, it still has historical importance. It was minted during a time of post-war prosperity in the United States, when coinage was still produced primarily with high-quality copper. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it a distinct reddish-brown color when new and a darker tone after years in circulation. For those assembling a complete collection of Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1953 is a required date and mint mark combination. While easier to find than other more scarce dates, it still holds collectible interest, especially if it can be found with good eye appeal or unique toning. Many collectors aim to obtain one coin from each year and mint in the Wheat penny series. And even circulated coins can fill valuable spots in these collections. Storage and care for circulated coins is still important. Even though this coin has been used, it should be handled carefully to prevent further wear. It can be placed in a coin holder or album that keeps it protected from moisture, dirt, and physical damage. Avoid cleaning the coin, as this can lower its value to collectors who prefer original surfaces even if worn. In terms of market value, while most circulated 1950 3D pennies range between 5 cents and $1, those with better preservation or special characteristics can be worth more. It is not uncommon for high-end uncirculated examples to reach values in the range of $50 to several $100s, especially if graded by a recognized service in displaying full red color and strong strike. Rare era coins or exceptionally well-preserved examples have occasionally fetched even higher amounts, possibly reaching several $1,000s in exceptional cases. This coin remains a part of the long and rich history of American coinage. Its presence in circulation helped carry commerce during the early 1950s, and today it serves as a reminder of the value of everyday items that often go unnoticed. Whether added to a collection for its date and mint mark or examined for educational interest, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny continues to be a piece of accessible American history.